sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's been sure nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. We're gonna have a good time there.
That's a song all about time, really, between the generations. It's done by Harry Chapin, and it's called Cats in the Cradle. And before it, Jim Croce and Time in a Bottle. More 70s music in the next hour, more from the archive too. And we'll hear from Ronnie Wood talking about joining the Rolling Stones. This is Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker and on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 4 o'clock. This is Nikki Cardwell. The first test of the government's new UK emergency alert system, which will be used to warn the public about future disasters, has been carried out. But it took many by surprise, going off slightly earlier than expected on some smartphones, while others said they didn't receive the test alarm at all, including many on the 3 network. These people in Glasgow did receive the alert and weren't sure what to make of it.
They did show us an alert on the news of what it would look like, but I didn't think it would actually happen. It was a bit early and it put a new system in my update now for my phone now.
A bit underwhelming, to be honest. I was expecting a bit more panic or something. I can see why they're doing it. I've seen that it's been effective in other places, but I don't know how.
UK diplomats and family members have been evacuated from Sudan in what the Prime Minister has called a complex and rapid operation. Some British nationals remain trapped by fighting between rival Sudanese military factions. Rishi Sunak said work was continuing to ensure the safety of those still in the country. The government said specific threats had been directed towards diplomats. Caroline Hawley has more details on the major operation to get embassy staff out of the capital, Khartoum.
It involved 1,200 military personnel from the RAF, the Army and the Navy. We're not being given exact details of the evacuation. We understand it didn't take place from the civilian airport. That is not in a fit state, but from an airfield north of Khartoum. We just know that it's diplomats and their families. We believe the numbers to be in the tens rather than anything else. And it leaves British nationals who are still stuck in Sudan and getting increasingly anxious, incredibly frustrated, and some of them saying they feel abandoned.
Labour has suspended the MP Diane Abbott from the Parliamentary Party. Ms Abbott had suggested in a letter in today's Observer that Jewish, Irish and traveller people suffered prejudice rather than racism. In a statement, she has apologised unreservedly, saying she sent an initial draft to the paper by mistake. The second FA Cup semi-final will get underway in around half an hour. Manchester United are playing Brighton, hoping to join their local rival City in the final. The Brighton manager Roberto De Zerbi says it's a big day for his club.
There will be a lot of our fans, great stadium, great atmosphere. We are able to win the game. Maybe we can lose, but maybe for sure we can compete.
And the Kenyan runner Kelvin Kiptum has won the men's race at this year's London Marathon in a record time of 2 hours, 1 minute and 25 seconds. In the women's elite race, the Dutch runner Sifa Hassan was victorious on her debut. Switzerland's Marcel Hug won the men's wheelchair race for the 5th time, and the Australian Madison de Rosario crossed the line first in the women's wheelchair race. BBC News, it's 3 minutes past 4. Orna's here now with all the traffic and travel news.
Thanks, Nikki. The Fife M90 and the southbound side, so Junction 2A to Junction 2 at Pitreavie. There was an overturned vehicle there, so people were slowing down past this scene. The M8 in Glasgow is still looking quite heavy on the eastbound side from the M77 to Anderston Cross, so 22 to 19. And Manchester, some routes are still busy, but all of the road closures, the rolling blocks, they've been lifted now since about 2:30, so long since gone. At Carmarthenshire, the A40 on the eastbound side near St Clears roundabout. Thanks to John, he gave me a call saying there's been an accident which we knew about, but it's still queuing back to High Street. Also, Bedfordshire, the M1 stopped on the northbound side at Flitwick at Junction 12. Now, that's where there was an accident earlier on, but they've held the traffic back, so that's the latest.